Cheers, guys.
I don't really think that's gonna happen, but okay.
Here's to breaking in the new studio.
To Baltimore.
To Baltimore.
Baltimore, guys.
Good morning, Baltimore.
I'm gonna need to have a swig of that.
Get you a cup?
I don't need to dirty a cup, but here, now I'll swig because we're
I like
sharing
being
a bottle.
more of a trash bag.
So I'm not a huge Bernie fan, but he made that image of himself into sweatshirts, and I
Jay
want
was talking
one.
about it last night.
They sold out in 6 minutes.
Damn it!
They're gonna do
They
another
lasted
one,
longer
and
than
I'm gonna
Jay
order
does
one
in bed.
too.
Yeah, like I don't
You
even.
want one?
Yeah, I don't even like
Ignore
him,
that.
but I want one, and I
Yeah.
love it because they were like, "What was with that, Bernie?" And he's like, "I was trying to stay warm." I was like, "I feel you, dude."
I love Bernie Sanders,
I
dude. He's
feel-
such a
I
goof.
feel you, Burn.
In the Cracker Barrel in my hometown in Georgia, somebody.
Cracker Barrel.
Have you ever
In
eaten
my
there?
hometown
Oh,
in
boy.
Georgia.
Have you ever eaten there? It's actually
Dude,
really,
I
really
love
good.
Cracker Barrel.
is so
somebody
good.
somebody printed off.
Their cheesy potatoes.
Hold on. Unpopular opinion. Not my favorite place.
It's not
You
my
know what?
It's not my
but it's
favorite,
like-
but it is
it's-
good.
yeah.
Those days he doesn't want to come to breakfast. The three of us.
Cracker Barrel.
Barrel.
We'll go.
Get some of them
We'll go to Cracker
good
Barrel.
old
Where do you think there's a
biscuits.
Cracker Barrel in downtown fucking Baltimore?
Can you imagine?
We'll find one.
Fair point. Fair point.
Can you imagine a Cracker Barrel?
I
in
will put a-
Have fun losing your parking, assholes.
Fair point.
bullshit.
Where all
I'm
the
gonna-
old
anyway.
I'm gonna start
people
walking
and racists
everywhere.
congregate.
Anyway,
boy.
somebody in my hometown printed off a black and white picture of Bernie, framed it, and hung it in the Cracker Barrel like it was an old timey photo. Like, you know how they decorate their walls.
Do you have a picture?
It's on the Facebook
Please show it to
somewhere.
me later.
Yeah, it's so
That is
funny.
great.
That's hilarious.
Actually, so speaking of American cities, have a fun game for you two today.
Mm.
Ooh, okay.
we came up with a questionnaire.
Oh,
I
boy.
can't participate because I did last night.
Okay.
I'll tell ya, I'm excited to see what you guys think.
I'll
Okay.
participate.
Okay,
Let's
this-
go.
Yeah,
this
you guys are gonna
stems
like it.
from a scene from The Office
Okay.
where Michael makes this declaration that China has 56 cities with over 1 million people and the United States only has 9. So naturally, being inquisitive, we Googled it.
Mm-hmm.
9 cities or
with
what?
9 cities, metropolitan areas, I guess, that contain more than 1 million people.
Okay.
So there are now 10 in the United States.
Can
Okay.
you name them?
Now you two, the game is going to be, can you name all 10?
Because I
10
think I got
cities.
7 or
Between
8
the
of
two of
them.
us?
They were more difficult.
got, like,
you'll get the
6.
top 3 or 4,
Right.
maybe the top 5, but
Right. Ready? So we'll
New
go.
York.
Yep, New York.
Yep.
Okay,
Los
so New York.
Angeles.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We're going to go one at a time.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't
Sorry.
just
So New
yeah,
York.
fuck. Well, so Meg should go first then.
So
Yeah.
Meg, what do you think number 1 is? Name one.
New York.
So New York is number 1.
All right.
Okay, Los Angeles. I thought we were going like one at a time, like my turn, then your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I thought
were.
maybe-
And then you immediately said 2 cities in a row.
Oh, we're doing
okay,
this
so we're-
together.
I guess I thought
we were on the same page, and
as
they were on
usual.
the same page. Okay, go,
She's
babe.
like, I thought we were going one at a time.
Oh.
Here's 2.
By the way, Meg is back, guys.
Hey guys, I'm back. I missed y'all.
All right, so New York is number 1.
Okay.
Steve-
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles is number 2.
See, look at that. We were
Are
going
we
in
still
order.
going in order?
No.
No,
okay,
we're
just
not.
okay,
Just-
okay, okay.
Okay, it has more than 1 million people.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, Meg is already struggling.
I'm already struggling. Seattle.
Seattle is not in the top 10. They come in at number 18, surprisingly, with only about 750,000.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's close, but
It's
not really
close,
there.
but it's not quite there. Yeah.
Atlanta.
Atlanta is not in the top
You know
10.
what though? I
Really?
didn't
That
even think
surprises
of
me.
Atlanta, and that's a really
These-
good
that does
guess.
surprise me.
These are jurisdictionally proper. So it's like Seattle proper, Atlanta proper, not the metropolitan area.
Mm.
Miami.
Miami is not in the top
Damn
10.
it.
But if it's named Atlanta, it still counts because I guessed one, and if you guys guess it, I'll tell you. But if you don't, I'll tell you at the end.
Okay, so
there's
then
one that's
If we're
that
doing
spans.
like that, then San Francisco.
Believe it or not, we had like an argument about this. San Francisco is not in the
This
top
is the
10.
I said
dumbest
San
fucking
Francisco too. See, it's tough.
Denver.
No,
Hold on. You can't do that.
She did it at first. I'm
Rude.
going to take
Okay,
over.
Thanks.
but I'll tell you, Denver's not on the list.
God
I
either.
feel like
damn it.
Denver's too small.
You think Denver's
guys
too
are
small?
missing
No,
How do you feel
I'm
about me?
thinking like Texas, but I'm trying to figure out like
Yeah,
which
there you
Texas
go.
city, and
There
I
you go.
don't
You're
know.
on the
If
right
it's,
path.
I don't know if it's like Austin or Dallas,
Name something.
Pick one.
Houston.
Houston
Houston's
is
on the
number
list.
Is number 4.
Good job.
Okay, because I was like, it's gonna be one of those 3.
So
Yeah.
at this point, to recap, we have New York City, Los Angeles, and Houston. You've named 3 of the top 10.
That's
Okay.
so weird. I can't believe Miami.
Baltimore.
Baltimore actually comes
Hold
in.
on, she guessed twice.
Okay.
It's Steven's turn.
Okay.
DC.
DC
No.
is actually down around number 40.
What?
Yeah, you dumb bitch.
I'm so confused. Like,
I know. I
You guys
know.
are, you guys are
biggest city.
missing.
It's gonna make you like really.
You guys are
question
missing
things.
a glaring one. Think about the major cities. You got New York and Los Angeles.
This was how I thought.
Boston.
Like big. No, that's not on there either.
Think of skylines. Where do you think
I
of when you
know.
see huge skylines?
Chicago.
There you
Oh.
go. That was like my first fucking guess.
Chicago.
New York and Chicago.
Good old Barack.
Chicago is number 3.
Okay.
So you both of you have gotten 1 through 4.
New York, Los Angeles, Chicago,
and Houston.
Okay.
Okay,
what do you got, Steve?
Sacramento.
Sacramento is not in the top 10.
I'm
San
done with
Diego.
this game. I'm done.
There
with
you
this.
go. San Diego's on the list.
Sorry.
San Diego's
I'm a woo girl, guys.
San Diego's number 8.
I can't wait to go to a bar with you when COVID's over.
I can't wait
Get
to
me
not
drunk.
go to the bar with you two.
You will be so happy to see me at a bar, babe. I'll be drunk and shaking my ass on the bar.
I won't
Yeah,
be doing
let's
that.
say happiness is not what I'll be feeling.
You're
All right, Steve, so
feeling
she-
something else.
She got San Diego at number 8.
I've,
Yeah.
like
That's
we've said,
tough, dude,
we've
I'm
said
telling
Los
you.
Angeles,
There is
San
one
Diego.
that genuinely shocked me.
Shocked
It-
me.
For me, it
I
was
Like
felt
BuzzFeed.
it.
for me it was number
Yeah.
for me it was number 5 that I was like,
Really?
I
Okay.
can't.
I know this
the
would be
top,
a good
the top
BuzzFeed
10
article.
cities with the most population.
And
Number
one will-
5 will shock you.
I mean, it will.
That's our
Portland.
title.
No.
No, Portland
No.
is
Although I can-
number
Which one? Maine or Oregon?
I mean, I'm bad at this. I haven't gotten a single thing. So
You got Chicago.
Portland, Oregon is not even
And
in
New
the top
York?
100.
she got New York. She got Chicago.
And I got.
Oh no,
San
Portland is
Diego.
number 26.
Jacksonville.
There's
I'm not
not.
going to give you a hint.
I don't know.
Orlando.
Say that again, Steve.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville actually comes in at number 12.
Ooh,
I
you were
said
close.
Jacksonville too. That was one of my top 10
I'm
because
Jacksonville's
it's
big.
so large.
Yeah,
It
I'm so
is.
bad.
Their
Big
proper
city
is big.
center. Yeah, they're Jacksonville proper. They do not have a great
New
big
Orleans.
city, but ooh, that'd be
New
a good
Orleans.
one too.
Falls down to number 50.
Okay, so
Meg's
that
a
was
dumb
not
bitch.
close. I
No,
am.
Meg's the only one that's gotten
Yo,
any of these.
Stormy Daniels is chilling in NOLA right now.
Oh,
Good
oh,
for
really?
Stormy.
Yeah.
Spooky Babes podcast.
Huh.
Yeah, check them
That
out.
sounds interesting.
I want to go there and go to that like dessert place that's really famous. It's-
Cafe du Monde.
Yeah, that you have to wait like 4
That
hours
was
to
our
get
plan.
into.
So we wanted
Refer to our
look,
previous episode to
We
talk
wanted
about
to
our
get
NOLA
beignets.
disappointments.
Yeah.
but somebody had their head buried in their fedora, throwing up tequila.
I was vomiting.
I love it, Lil. You know what? A beignet probably would have made you feel better.
You know, I have thrown up in my fedora in more places than just NOLA.
Fern
Little
Gu-
fun fact.
Fern Gully Rainforest.
Wow. Of all places.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued to know these cities. So it's like bugging me.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys have
You can
gotten.
splice this together.
We've gotten 4.
I
5?
just want to hear the list. It's
You've got-
making me angry.
So you've gotten New York City, Los
Okay.
Angeles, Chicago,
New Jersey.
Houston.
Oh,
that's
that's
state.
a really fucking. Okay. Can you name a town in New Jersey?
Meg used to think New England was a state.
Okay, so here.
Oh, I did know
okay,
that. You
but
dumb
let
bitch.
me tell this story because I was not a dumb bitch. I was a child.
You were old enough to still
Yeah.
think that it was a state.
So no,
You are a
listen,
dumb
listen
bitch.
to the whole thing. So when I was little,
I don't.
like
wanna
when
know
I
where
was
this is
little,
going.
and my stepdad
Mhm.
would be like watching football, the Patriots were playing, and I was like, "Where's New England?"
He's like, oh, Northeast.
And he was
Okay,
like-
that's a fair thing, though.
He was like, "It's in the
Hold on.
Northeast," and
I
I
have
was
a
like,
follow-up
"Oh,
question.
okay."
Already in this noggin here.
And I was like, you know, I was kind of like where? He's
Mhm.
like, and he's like, oh, like, you know, by like Maine, that's where New. And so I was like, okay, so I just like thought it was like a state, and then like learning the states,
Okay.
I'm like, oh, it must be just like a major city.
Hold on. Okay, now I have a question.
Okay.
How old were you? This is a very important question. How old were you when you realized that New England was not a city/state?
Fast forward.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but this is like why? Because this isn't like in my thinking, and then like they're a major like football team. Who names their football team after an area, not like a city or a state?
Mhm, mhm.
And I'm from the West Coast, best coast, not like you freak
No.
over there, Jay.
Okay, just how old were you?
So I think it was like 2 years ago.
So
But,
Okay,
like,
that-
you were
that
30.
changes.
She and, she
So,
and
like,
I were
Steven-
married at the time.
Yeah, so Steven, we were
you
talking
were
about
30.
this.
Didn't you go to college?
She did.
I've been to college
Oh my
twice.
Did they
God.
not
3
make
times?
you take a geography course?
3 times? No, because I passed geography with flying colors in high school.
You sure?
Mhm. Go as Mr.
She-
Moore.
she was- she-
Go
What
as
high
Mr.
school
Moore.
did you go to? I need to reach out
Not
to
the
someone.
greatest one.
she doesn't
Not
know.
the
She can't
greatest
find it
one.
on a map.
Burn.
I love you.
So I honestly, that's actually funny because I really stopped learning anything in geography after like 10th grade because I didn't need to take another geography class.
Can you imagine asking her to name the 50 states? She'd sit there and be like, I'm 3 short.
You know what? That'll
Midwest.
be the next
No, I'd
New
be like,
England.
I'd be like Joey Tribbiani and be like, this is easy. I have 57.
Tijuana. I don't know.
Dallas is number 9.
There you go.
So now you've got 2 left, 1 in California and 1 in Texas.
San Antonio.
You dumb bitch.
San
no.
Antonio is number 7.
Oh, you dumb
No.
bitch. Yes.
So there's three. There's 3 total in
is
Texas.
the other one I'm thinking about number 11 or 12?
So
I
there,
don't
Yes,
know.
Austin is
Okay.
number 11.
so there's 3 total in Texas.
All right, you're not a dumb bitch.
Yes.
I'm the
Okay.
dumb
See,
bitch.
I
There
did
we go.
not.
That-
I thought maybe
that-
there would be 2 in Texas.
All right.
That's
Okay,
our
okay.
intro.
So you got
Lillie
1
saying.
left and it's
In
in California.
California.
And this is Mrs. West Coast, Best Coast, so you should know this.
So we need to get this last city right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, do you want to name off the 10, Jay?
I'm very surprised by number 10. Well, not like very, but I'm surprised it's bigger than
How
San
do you know
Francisco.
what number 10 is, though?
I just
You do?
know.
What
name
is it
them
then?
off. 1 through 10.
Meg, what is it?
San Jose. My husband told me.
He probably Googled it.
He
Yeah,
probably did, honestly.
All right, so
What a dick.
from start to finish, number 1, New York City. Number 2, Los Angeles, and then Chicago, Houston, Phoenix coming in at number 5, Philadelphia, San Antonio, San Diego, a whale's vagina, Da- Dallas, and last but not least, San Jose, California at 1.02 million.
Now, okay, I think that most of those, after hearing, I was like,
you can
that
connect
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
The one that just still does not compute to me is Phoenix, Arizona.
I feel like that's
It makes
though where
no
like
sense.
all
Yeah.
of Arizona lives.
You
know?
No, that's true. Actually, like, hold on. Nah, I was going to Google, like, what population of Arizona lives in Phoenix, but I mean,
100% of
I
it.
say 1.68 million. That's probably close to like 70% of the state.
It would
Where
be.
does Eleanor live in Arizona from The
She's
Good Place?
from Phoenix, right?
She's a trash
Or
bag from
Tucson?
Phoenix.
Oh, it might be
It
Tucson.
might be Tucson.
Will you Google it?
All right, let's see.
And then I guess we'll just dive into.
I think it's Phoenix though. I'm gonna stick with my first answer.
I had a friend convince me to watch The Good Place. And she's like, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And I watched the first season and I said, hey, you know what? I think I really identify with Eleanor.
Phoenix.
And okay.
She's from Phoenix.
She's
and
from
she
Phoenix.
goes,
Yeah.
I really thought you would identify with Eleanor. And initially I was like, thank you. And then I thought about it and I was like,
That's not a compliment.
that's not a compliment. She's such a trash bag.
I
but
love
she
her
wants
though.
to be good.
But she's trying, you know.
Well, anyway,
so I
took
think
it personally.
Steven introduced it to me, and like we watched the first season together,
Mhm.
like the first few episodes, and then I was like, I really want to watch this with my husband, but he was like, he'll kill me for saying this, but he's like playing video games or working all the time, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna finish watching this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
then-
funny. Your spouse did the same thing that mine did for The Good Place.
And then-
Okay, no.
No,
I
see-
wanted to watch it with you. You never committed. And so I watched the first
Yeah.
season myself. We were sitting in middle of nowhere, Italy.
Mhm.
And
No, it wasn't middle of nowhere. It was Rio Maggiore in the Cinque Terre.
middle of nowhere, Italy. Literally, there was no one around. We had nothing to do. We bought dinner. We went back to our Airbnb and we were like, I guess we'll watch TV. And
Well, because
I
it was
turned on The Good
February.
Place and he loved it.
Because it was February in Italy and
Did you say? Can you say that word again?
February.
February?
February.
It's F-E-B-R.
There is an R, but that's not how you say
February.
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 You put a lot of emphasis on that first R.
February.
February.
Yeah, so I continue to watch The Good Place, and I've offered to like restart it with Steven, and he's just being like a salty bitch.
Yeah, that's fair. I think so. I actually told him I don't want to watch it anymore because we would like The Office or Parks and
Like
Rec.
rewatch things.
We'll rewatch it, and so we've rewatched. Say it. What?
February.
Oh,
my
who was
goodness,
right?
Jay, that's
That is embarrassing. All right.
So we would rewatch The Good Place, and finally I got to a point where I was like, we have to stop watching this because it's so existential that I get to thinking too much.
About
and then
your death?
Yeah, I start thinking about death.
Well,
and
he's
the
like,
meaning
I
of
am
life.
not going to the good place.
I cannot do it. So we had to turn it off. Great show.
It is
totally
great. So I
recommend
haven't
watching it,
seen
but
the last
oof.
season because I keep offering to Steve, like, I'll rewatch it with you, but he
The-
doesn't.
The last season was the best season.
I've
the
heard
first
this.
and the last were just
I love Janet.
dynamite.
so much.
Yeah, you're gonna love
Derek.
Janet even more.
Derek's
Maximum Derek.
Maximum Derek.
No, I love Janet.
Okay.
All right.
So,
we're
Jay, you
here.
have a story for us, don't you?
I do. Today I've decided to go with the History's Mysteries path.
I love
Hey,
this.
I love history's
And-
mysteries,
What is it?
man.
And today I'm going to be talking about the lost colony of Roanoke.
Oh shit!
So
Hold up.
this story probably should have a deeper dive, but since this is a shorter episode,
It's a pint-sized podcast.
Pint-sized party.
So wait, is it like the Roanoke from
American Horror Story?
no, there's no butcher in this.
We're gonna get halfway through this, and then a bunch of like a team of actors are gonna pop out, and they're gonna be
No,
like, "This is actually how
That's
it was done."
wildly inaccurate.
No, that's how the
Inaccurate?
show went.
I feel like
No,
he-
that's how the show went. That's not how this show is going.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Wouldn't it be great if we like long conned our listeners and just like all of a sudden 4 people come out and we're like, we're the real
Imagine
hosts.
if we could get like Stormy
would be-
Daniels to be the
it-
butcher.
Oh my goodness!
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it'd be really exciting if
The
like,
Butcher.
Sarah Paulson like walked in and was like, "Whoa!"
I wish I could like do a Sarah Paulson impression, but I can't.
Have you seen her Drew Barrymore impression?
I bet it's
It's fucking
on
hilarious.
point.
And they were like, "Has Drew Barrymore seen it?" And there, she was like, she didn't say anything." I think it
hope
was
so.
something. It was something weird like that, like where Drew Barrymore had definitely seen it, but like she could tell that she did not like it.
I can't even try to make. I can't. I'm gonna think about this. Maybe by the end, I'll have some form of a impression ready. Okay, Jay. So the Roanoke.
All right, our story starts in 1578.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
And Stephen, if you want to put in a little "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" music here. So in 1578, Queen Elizabeth I granted a charter to Sir Humphrey Gilbert.
What a name.
Sir Humphrey.
I should name my son Humphrey if I ever have one.
Oh my God, Meg just yawned. She's already bored with this.
I know. That's all right. She gave the Queen Elizabeth I gave Sir Gilbert a kind of a mandate or a charter to explore and colonize the territories unclaimed by Christian kingdoms, because as most people know, exploration is driven by religion. So following Gilbert's
It's called
death,
imperialism.
following Gilbert's death in 1583, so 5 years later, she was like, well, shit. That never materialized. So she split the charter between his brother, Adrian Gilbert, and his half-brother, Walter Raleigh.
Ooh, someone was naughty.
I like to imagine.
What was a half sibling? Someone was cheating.
I like to
I mean,
imagine
it's royal, so yeah.
that they have like a direct correlation to Gilbert Gottfried.
I wish.
Affleck,
Wasn't he on...
Roanoke.
Do you guys remember he was on like a show, like a Hollywood tic-tac-toe show?
Yes.
All right, yeah, okay, so I'm not
Yeah.
the only one. All right. Anyway, back to it. Adrian's charter gave him the patent for Newfoundland and all points north.
Newfies.
Yeah, they were seeking the what do you call it? The elusive northwestern passage to Asia, because New York definitely like
We're connected
Well,
to
New
Asia.
York is in New England.
No, it's not. That's Steve. I just thought that
I'm
it was
sorry,
like
New,
up
New
there
England
somewhere.
was just a state in of itself.
just a
Keep
whole state.
going,
The
Jay.
whole state.
while
The
Raleigh,
New England Patriots. Duh. Makes sense.
oh, there it is. Raleigh was awarded the lands to the south, though much of that was already claimed by Spain. So it was just kind of like, here, if you can kick their asses out, you can have it. So Raleigh's charter was issued on March 25th, 1584, and specified that he needed to establish a colony by no later than 1591, or he'd lose his royal right to colonization.
Wow.
He was to, and I quote, discover, search, find out, and view such remote, heathen, and barbarous lands,
Heathen and
countries-
barbarous.
lands, countries, and territories to have, hold, occupy, and enjoy. It was expected that Raleigh would establish a base from which to send privateers on raids against the treasures of the Spanish fleet. So, everyone loves a good plundering.
What is the... Oh my god, a plundering. What are the Columbus ships called?
The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
All right, I was going to make like a Step Brothers
All
joke,
I
but
knew was the
couldn't
Santa
remember
Maria.
'em. All right.
No, it's the Santa Maria from the state of New England.
Is it? There's no state of New England.
Nina the Pinta.
You sure?
No.
So despite the broad powers granted to Raleigh by the Queen, he was forbidden to leave the Queen's side. So instead of personally leading
Was she
voyages,
getting a little side action from
I
him?
don't know. That's a question that I should actually look into, but
I think
I don't
so.
know. Despite the broad powers, he was not allowed to leave the Queen's side. So instead of personally leading the voyages, he delegated the missions to his associates and oversaw the operations from London, like a good ruler does. So he quickly arranged an expedition to explore his royal claim. It departed England on the 27th of April in 1584. The fleet consisted of two, I think it's pronounced barques. I don't know, two ships.
Two ships, guys.
Commanded by Philip Amadas and Arthur Barlow. The expedition employed a standard route for transatlantic voyages, whatever that means. I guess you sail south, catch the trade winds, and then boom, you're in the Carolinas. I don't know.
Boom, Carolinas. I don't know.
Something like that. They landed on July 4th. I don't know. I have questions about that date because it
Okay.
seems far too coincidental.
That is definitely a very close running favorite holiday of mine with Christmas. And we better get to celebrate this year.
What is it?
4th of July.
Oh, you know what? If there
I love
is,
the 4th of July show.
I get to light shit on
if
fire.
there is fireworks,
Yes.
our rooftop deck,
Fuck yeah, pimp.
Dude,
we can see everything.
do you want to go full douche this year for 4th
I
of
will.
July?
I'm already shopping for outfits, Lily. I don't think you know how excited I am. 2021 better go
almost-
my
I
way.
love
I'm
4th of
talking to
July.
you, Joe Biden.
I almost just asked if you were going to get the outfit in every color, but there's
Red,
only,
white, and blue.
There's really only one color
I
combo.
am actually thinking about getting 2 outfits because there's one I really like that I wanted for last year, but I'm shopping for another one. And
I
there's
want a
some,
red, white, and blue romper.
it's a red, white, and blue American flag overall shorts.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Yo.
You want to pair with me, Lily?
Kind of.
Let's
Send
do
them
it.
to me. All right.
So, yeah, they landed in the area that's now known as Cape Fear on July 4th. And I'm not questioning the date, but it's awfully coincidental that all the initials or foundings of America happened on or around July 4th. I don't
Why
know.
not? It's a great day.
I know. I don't know. Anyway,
Come on.
the Native Americans in the region had likely made contact with the Europeans for previous expeditions, most likely.
So they killed all the white people
Well,
coming in.
I'm getting to that. So most likely like Spanish expeditions, since most of the territory had already had Spanish claim. So in the Pamlico Sound, there was a tribe they were called the Sectoans. The Sectoan chief who controlled the waterways in the Pamlico Sound, his name was Wingina.
Great name.
No, it's not Wingina.
Is it actually
It
pronounced
might-
Wingina?
I don't know. It's
How's it spelled?
Wingina.
Wingina?
Might be Wingina.
I'm gonna
I
go
like
with
that you
Wingina,
immediately
I like
jumped to
Wingina.
Wingina.
just because.
I'm going with Wingina.
I mean, they wouldn't have said vagina, so maybe it could be Wingina.
Maybe.
That wouldn't they would have had it in their native language, and I don't know what it was.
Wingina.
Wingina.
Love the Wingina, but I love that that's what you jumped to.
I think anyway. Moving on. He controlled the waterways.
Wingina.
Wingina.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
He controlled the waterways in the Pamlico Sound and had recently been injured in a war with the opposing tribe, the Pamlico, which is what the sound is named after. So Wingina or Wingina,
We don't know.
his brother, I'm going to butcher this name, Granjanimio, represented the tribe.
Yeah, you butchered that.
Oh, yeah.
Niniina.
Spelled Granganimio.
I'd have to look at it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's not a thing I can listen to.
But
and
anyway,
try
I'd
to
look
say.
at it and still fucking not
We'll call
say
him
it right.
Grang.
Grang. Good old Grang.
Grang represented the tribe in his place. So, upon their return to England in the autumn of 1584, Amadas and Barlow, the two captains of the ships that were sent out on a reconnaissance mission, spoke very highly of the tribes, specifically their hospitality and the strategic location of Roanoke Island in the Pamlico Sound. They brought back two natives with them, Juan Cheese, a Sectoan, and Manteo, a Croatan. Not Croatoan, a Croatan
A
Fine.
Croatan.
from the Croatan tribe.
So when you said the first guy's name, I legit thought you were talking about like they brought back some cheese.
Juan Cheese.
One cheese, eh?
So the Croatan Manteo was
Okay.
the mother. Manteo, whose mother was the chieftain of Croatoan Island.
Okay.
There
So
it
keep
is.
these. So we've got Roanoke Island, the Pamlico Sound, and Croatoan Island now. Queen Elizabeth was impressed with the results of Raleigh's expedition. So in 1585, during a ceremony knighting Raleigh, she proclaimed the land and granted to him Virginia, and proclaimed him Knight Lord and Governor of Virginia.
If someone was like, Lily, you can have Virginia, I'd be like, pass.
Hard pass.
So anyway, Knight Lord and Governor of Virginia, Sir Walter Raleigh, sought investors to fund a colony. So we'll talk about the first colony before we talk about the historic lost colony.
Okay.
Did you guys know there was two?
Yeah,
No.
of course.
But now
I
that we're
didn't.
talking about this, like in this pint-sized potty, no one did the song. I'm upset.
Pint-sized podcast.
Thanks, Lily. I'm excited to like. I agree with Jay, and we should go deeper into this.
Yes, we're definitely going to need
You
to.
like going deep?
I do enjoy going deep.
We're definitely going to need to go deeper in this because I cut out like 5 pages of notes just to keep this within the pint-sized. So there's a lot to it.
Pint-sized potty.
See, I don't do that, and then I let Steve just edit it, and we're still singing pint-sized potty, but it's a full episode.
Yeah, we'll address that at the end. So yeah, I did not know there was 2 colonies originally. I thought there was just like the one, and then they
Yeah.
like disappeared, and that was it. So apparently, the first Roanoke colony was established by a man named Ralph Lane in 1585 on Roanoke Island in what is now
Awfully similar to Ralph Lauren.
on Roanoke Island, what is now Dare County, North Carolina. The colony failed to take root. Lane was appointed governor of the colony. However, for the first colony in Virginia, Raleigh planned a large military operation focused on exploration and the evaluation of the natural resources available. The intended number of colonists is really unknown, but approximately 600 men were sent on the voyage. Like,
That's a lot.
that's a lot of people for
I
this
mean, that's
time.
a lot of people today.
I imagine they didn't expect all 600 to make it. So it was more like send
We
as many
expect
people as
you
you
to
can,
die.
expecting
That's
a bunch
so
to
shitty
die.
That's so shitty to
You're
be like,
probably going to die of a cold.
We're at 600, but we expect 200 to make it.
Yeah, I mean,
and 40 to make it back.
Yeah.
you have to think of it, though. That's pretty realistic back then.
I do have to tell you guys with like moving and how much like lifting and
Yeah.
crap we've been doing and up the stairs. I'm like, God, now I know why so long ago people only lived to like 30 because my body cannot take this shit.
So anyway, this colony was established on Roanoke Island. But on the way to the colony, one of the ships ran aground in the Pamlico Sound,
It ran amok.
and the supplies ended up being spoiled by the salt water, and they lost their kind of stores of fresh water. So when you have 600 people and you've lost
And
an
you don't have
entire
any water.
ship,
You better hope it
You
rains,
mean to
bro.
tell me they lost a significant amount of people just like I said they would?
no, they didn't lose people; they lost supplies. The ship ran
Uh-huh.
aground, and they lost the supplies because the salt water seeped
Uh-huh.
in.
No,
Okay, sure,
yeah.
whatever. Can we move on? Goodness.
You're jumping ahead, Lily.
Mhm.
The ships ran aground on the sound, and the supplies ended up being spoiled. So when you have all of these people, which made it to the colony, now they're in a peril because they don't have the supplies or the fresh water needed.
Yes.
But that they didn't lose them on the journey.
Right. How much would that suck? Like you made the hard part, like you made it through the journey, and then you're like, well, now I might not live.
The mission failed, essentially getting the people to settle on Roanoke Island. And in the winter, leading into the spring, they had a lot of problems with the local tribes, mostly because they had such a reliance on the local Sectoan tribes' food supplies, which really started to piss them off and strain the relation. So
Well, yeah.
naturally, tribes align with tribes, and these local tribes attacked the English settlers, and they each ambushed each other, and then
These
eventually-
crazy white people come in and they're like, we want your food.
so the tribes attacked the English, and they each ambushed each other. And eventually the white people were like, you know what? Fuck these minorities. And they bounced. So following the failure of the 1585 settlement, a second colony led by John White landed on the same island in 1587. And this is the colony that became known as the Lost Colony. So despite the desertion of the Lane colony in 1585, Raleigh was persuaded to make another attempt. Roanoke Island would no longer be safe for English settlers following the hostilities between Lane's men and the Sectoan and the death of Wingina.
Oh,
I knew
snap.
Wingina was coming back.
Wingina, whatever it is. On January 7th, 1587, Raleigh approved a corporate charter to found the city of Raleigh with White as the governor and 12 assistants. Approximately 115 people agreed to join the colony, significantly less than the 600 that went for the
Oh,
Lane
yeah.
colony, including John White's pregnant daughter, Eleanor, and her husband, Ananias Dare. Dare County, Ananias Dare
Okay.
Okay.
connections.
I don't know what Dare County
Ananias,
is.
what a name.
I assume Dare County is in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
said at the
He
beginning. That's where
discussed
the
this.
just
Are you not listening?
Didn't know.
I'm paying
Ooh,
attention
snap.
to your story, Jay.
Snap.
Ananias, though. I'm still thinking about it.
Ananias Dare.
Asinius.
The colonists were largely middle-class Londoners, perhaps seeking to become landed gentry. The expedition consisted of 3 ships. The flagship was named the Lion, and it departed May 8th, and on July 22nd, the flagship landed at Croatoan Island. So the following morning, July 23rd,
I have a question.
go ahead.
How do they know they're going to like Croatoan Island?
Right? I don't
Like,
know.
what happened? Like, how did they get there without like maybe getting redirected to
I
Florida?
get lost without GPS.
Exactly. And these
So-
people didn't have GPS and they were just like, yeah, I'm going
Best
to the
guess?
right island.
Kind of best guess. So that's why I had mentioned earlier in the story that they sailed south to catch the trade winds,
Mm-hmm.
which takes them to Cape Fear, which is like now Ocracoke Island. So like if they got to a certain point using their navigation instruments and they caught the trade winds, it would take them due west, directly along the latitude line. So they'd land somewhere in the Carolinas.
The
and then
winds don't change?
Say what you
not-
want. I'm
usually
highly
trade winds
impressed
don't,
by
not for
this.
sailing.
Huh. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, no, I
I
mean-
didn't work in the sailing industry for years. I don't know anything about this.
But I gotta say, like, that's very, very impressive. Like, I
To
have a
land in the
hard
same
time.
geographical area.
I
with-
have a
Yeah.
hard time finding my way across town.
The other day we were coming into Baltimore and Jay was like, oh, I don't know. Like, he was like, this is the main street. And then, we have to turn down here for Steve. And I was like, we turn here. And there
That's all
was,
she knew.
yeah, no, I
But hey,
knew.
she knew it.
I recognized the street and I was like, no, this is it. We turn here. And there was a moment where I felt so proud because usually he's more directionally inept than I am. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, this is where we turn.
I-
And I win.
I feel like with Steve, it's hit or miss, but we're at a point now where I know my way around Annapolis better.
Yeah.
Just in time for you to move to Baltimore.
Right. Just in time for us
Yeah.
to move to Baltimore. And like we would be somewhere and he would need GPS to get back to the house and be like, no, it's fine. Just keep going. And then like turn left in 2
Yeah.
blocks or something. And he'd be like, where's the GPS?
Well, they didn't
Love you,
have
babe.
GPS, but they did land in Croatoan Island.
Good for them.
So
Did you just hear my hiccup?
Skills.
Did
the
you guys hear
following
that?
morning,
I did not. I'm sorry.
on
Do it
July
again.
23rd, White's party located the site of Lane's failed colony. The
Sad face.
fort had been dismantled, and the houses had stood vacant and overgrown with, get this, melons.
What?
Melons.
What kind of melons?
I
Did
just
you
said
just say
melons. Yeah. So
Okay.
like you just kind
Okay.
of walking up being, oh, there's their dismantled houses and a shitload of melons. There was
I
no
mean,
there are
cantaloupe
worse
right now.
things, I guess.
there was no sign that the prior
Were
colonies.
they seedless?
I don't know.
All right.
Probably not. That's like a hybrid thing.
Nah.
There was no sign that the prior colony's men had been there except for human bones that White believed to be the remains of them killed by the Native Americans. So, to recap, me and my recaps, they've arrived at Croatoan Island. All the houses are vacant, overgrown with melons, and there's bones everywhere. For
what
me,
a sight to see.
For me, that would be a huge red flag. Like
I would be turned around. I would go away.
Hit the trade winds, go east.
Hit the trade winds.
So the second ship behind the Lion arrived on July 25th, 3 days after the Lion had, and all of the colonists disembarked onto Croatoan Island. Thereafter, colonist George Howe was killed by a native while searching alone for crabs in the Albemarle Sound. Second red flag for me.
I hate when I get killed when I'm looking for crabs.
Yeah, me too. Tensions between the local tribes and the English settlers were still pretty high at this point, as you can imagine, and there were numerous scuffles between the English and the different tribes around on the land, which led to, obviously, supplies being burned, which sounds very familiar from before, and lives being taken. The colonists persuaded the governor to return to England to explain the colony's desperate situation and ask for help. So Governor White reluctantly agreed and departed with the fleet on August 27th, 1587. So he had been there about a month when they were like, we're kind of in a shitty situation. You probably should go home and tell someone.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't just send a carrier pigeon, but that's me. 1587, after a difficult journey, Governor White returned to England on November 5th. But by this time, reports of the Spanish Armada had mobilized for an attack coming towards the English, and the news had reached London. So naturally, Queen Elizabeth had prohibited any ship from leaving England so that they might participate in the coming battle. Can you imagine owning a boat and getting into port and being like the Queen being like, you know what? I know you got a job to do, but like I need your shit, so like you're not leaving. So that's pretty much what she did. And in August of 1588, so almost a year later, the English finally defeated the Spanish Armada. And England maintained the ban on the shipping in order to focus efforts on organizing a counterattack against the Spanish Armada at home in 1589. So 2 years has elapsed since he returned home. And the colonists are like, we were fucked after a month.
I gotta say, he's lucky he got to go back because you had a pretty high chance of dying in 2 years back then.
Oh, yeah. Like I said,
and going through like a war?
In a month, they were like, you should go home and tell England because we're fucked. And it's now 2 years, and he wouldn't even gain permission to make a resupply attempt to the colonies until 1590. So 3 years after leaving.
Yikes.
So like a little kind of...
Can you imagine? We have to go to Sam's Club every 2 weeks.
We have to go to Sam's Club today.
Dude, I gotta go to Costco so bad.
I know.
Yeah.
Following a failed reconnaissance mission in 1587, King Philip II of Spain ordered some dude, I think Vicente Gonzalez, to search the Chesapeake Bay for the original colony. He failed to find anything in the Chesapeake Bay, but on the way back, he discovered Port Fernando on the Outer Banks. The port appeared abandoned and there was no signs of activity on Roanoke Island. So why this is important is Spain was trying to take over the English colony because they wanted to reclaim the lands that,
Fucking Spaniards.
Right? But this is in 1588, and what's important to notice here is there was no signs of activity on Roanoke Island. This is in 1588.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind for later on when we're talking about conspiracy theories here or theories of what happened to them. There's no reports of sightings between 1587 and 1590 when Governor White is able to finally return. So let's keep going. In 1590, Raleigh arranged for passage for Governor White on a privateering expedition organized by John Watts. The fleet of 6 ships would spend the summer of 1590 raiding Spanish outposts in the Caribbean, but the flagship and its sister ship would split off and take White to his colony. So also kind of fucked up to be like, we're going to send you with these ships, but we're going to go do our agenda first, and then we're going to go make sure your family and all the colonies, are still okay. So at the same time, Raleigh was in the process of turning the venture over to new investors. Because remember, it's advantageous for Raleigh to have people at the colony so his legal claim designated by the charter would remain in place. If no one was physically on the islands, he would lose claim to the territory. So the ships are anchored at Croatoan Island on August 12th, but there was no indication that White used the time to contact the Croatan for information, the tribe Croatan. And on the evening of August 15th, while anchored on the north end of Croatoan Island, the crew sighted plumes of smoke from Roanoke Island, and the following morning they investigated but could not find anything.
That's some spooky shit.
V-spook.
Take a breath, Jade.
I know.
Jeez.
White's landing party spent the next 2 days attempting to cross the Pamlico Sound with considerable difficulty, but also loss of life. And on August 17th, they spotted another fire on the north end of Roanoke, and they reached the island after nightfall and decided not to risk coming ashore to investigate. And tried to investigate this next morning and again found nothing. White and the others made landfall in the next morning, and they found fresh tracks in the sand, but had made no contact with anyone during their time on the island. They also discovered the letters CRO carved into a tree. Just the first 3 letters.
Crow.
I gotta say, Team Pussy would not do well in this adventure.
Oh, hell no.
Mm-mm.
I think
So they reached the site of the colony, or where they thought the colony was. And while they noticed the area had been fortified with a palisade. Now, a palisade is like it's not a sport utility vehicle.
earlier Jay,
I mean, it is, but
earlier Jay goes, "What the fuck is a palisade?" And I was like, easy. It's a car. And he was like, "You know what? You're not wrong."
Isn't it like, what?
it's a Hyundai Palisade. It's an SUV.
Yeah.
No, but what you're talking about, it's like a palace aid.
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
Oh.
You dumb bitch.
PALISADE.
No, like
It's a Hyundai.
that is a Hyundai.
I
We've
know,
established
I'll
it's
give you
not
that.
that. Stop
I
pushing
know.
your
But it's
far right
not
conspiracy
bad.
theories.
Whatever. Lily, it's far left.
That's true.
Thank you.
So a palisade is like if you were to take a thin tree, cut it down, take all the branches off, and make it spiky at the top. So when they reached the colony, like I said, they had this palisade, and it's just take a small tree, make a pointy at the top, and then make a wall with them. So like
Yeah.
Like
Couple
a
hundred-
fence.
yeah, like a
with,
fence.
with pointy sticks.
with pointy trees, they're huge.
That's what Donald Trump wanted.
like a stockade.
Yeah, like a stockade fence,
Yeah.
like a rudimentary stockade fence.
And also what Donald Trump
Also
wanted.
what Donald Trump wanted.
Good one.
Near the entrance of the fencing, the famous word, Croatoan, was carved into one of the posts.
That's scurry.
So while
Huh.
White was certain that the inscriptions meant the colonists had peacefully relocated from Roanoke Island to Croatoan Island, since they had agreed in 1587, 3 years before, that the colonists would leave a secret token indicating their destination, Croatoan was understood to be their new location, as it was not the pre-agreed upon duress code.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so earlier they had seen something that said crow,
Yes.
and then they found Croatoan
In a
Yes.
different location?
in a different location.
Yes.
Okay.
So my question
Crow was on a tree near the beach, and Croatoan was at the entrance to the fortified colony.
I gotta
my-
tell you guys, I would have made myself all the way down to Florida by now. Like, this is some scary shit.
My question is did they not find a second place that was a Toan or like
Croat?
There's no notes on that. I could
Yeah,
not find anything
because
saying
like
that.
it would make sense, or like was Croatoan kind of the next step before maybe the last step that wasn't found? Like it just seems weird to go from crow to Croatoan.
Right. I think that's what makes this so interesting is there's so many unsolved
Like,
things.
what was this?
So
It's a history's mystery.
right, it is.
Yeah.
It's a history's mystery.
History's mysteries.
It's Meg's
So-
favorite.
So breaking this down, in Croatoan was carved, but it was not the pre-approved or the pre-agreed upon duress code. So like
Mhm.
What's their duress code?
it's never stated, but let's
Mine is
just say
pineapple.
so. Okay, let's use pineapple. So like
That's just your safe
if
word.
we
but-
It is
see-
my safe word.
Jesus.
Can our safe word be Croatoan?
All right, I'm down
Okay.
with that. So like if you see pineapple carved into a tree, it got too real for
Stop
Meg.
choking me.
It got too real for Meg.
Croatoan.
So pineapple, that would be like them saying we're under duress, we've fleed. But Croatoan was just understood as okay, they just moved from Roanoke Island to Croatoan Island.
Mhm.
Okay.
So within the palisade, the search party found that the houses had been dismantled completely, and anything that could have been carried had been carried out of the palisade. Several large trunks, including 3 belonging to Governor White, containing the belongings he left behind in 1587, had been dug up and looted, but the trunks were left.
That's odd. Why wouldn't you just take the trunk? That would be easier and then go through it later.
Maybe it's like one of those like he only needed winter clothes to go home, so he left his
and
summer clothes
maybe
there.
they were, I mean, obviously on foot, so it was too difficult to carry a trunk. And
That's
was-
true.
Yeah.
And none of the colony's boats could be found along the shore or any trace of the boats.
Like, that's creepy.
So other than the palisade
AF.
fence, 3 empty trunks and the word Croatoan and Crow. They had no idea where the colony had gone.
Does
so it was
this
almost
location still exist? Like, can you go to where this palisade is
Yeah,
and
they-
see?
Yeah, well, it's a reconstruction of it, but they have like
It's like going to see the fucking Mayflower in Plymouth.
yeah, essentially.
Don't go there.
Yeah, don't do it.
So, fun fact, the ship from Pirates of the Caribbean is in my hometown.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in
We're gonna touch base on that.
Yeah.
That's weird, but
It was our claim to fame for like a very long time, and we really liked. I still like to say it, guys.
I just saw it. I watched it again yesterday.
Great
in Anna
movie.
Cortez.
Anna Cordes.
I
Don't
love
like
that
it's
movie.
not an emphasis. An emphasis.
An
An
emphasis.
an emphasis on the last syllable, like everyone does.
So kind of closing up before we get into like the cool stuff. It was almost as if the entire colony had just up and disappeared. There was no traces leading in or out of the palisade, and there were no belongings, and everything was kind of overgrown. So
Reminds me of that movie Safe Haven. They were just looking for their safe haven.
they were.
I have not seen that movie, so I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen Pocahontas.
We have it. We'll watch it.
So one of the leading theories is that the colony just assimilated with local tribe culture.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like married
Right.
in and like they became part of the Indian tribes. So since 2005, computer scientist Roberta Estes had found several organizations for DNA analysis and genealogical research. So her interest in the disappearance of the 1587 colony motivated various projects established to create a genetic link between the colonists and Native American descendants.
Mm-hmm.
So she was using DNA samples, and although it's sometimes unreliable given the 5 or 6 generations removed,
Mm-hmm.
she began testing Y chromosomes and mitochondrial DNA over large spans of time. The main challenge of the work was to obtain a genetic point of comparison from the remains of a lost colonist and one of their descendants. And while it is conceivable to sequence DNA from 430-year-old bones, there are, as of yet, no bones from the lost colony to work with. But as of 2019, the project has yet to identify any living descendants from any of the colonist families embedded in the tribal DNA.
They all got killed.
So from this particular DNA analysis as of 2019, there's
no
no
descendants.
DNA evidence.
Theoretically, they did not marry and integrate into native tribes.
Correct.
Okay.
So what's your guys' thoughts?
Is that it?
I
that
think they
that's
were
it.
all killed. Also, I do want to deep dive into this much farther later
Yes.
in the future.
Yeah.
So, okay,
what's your theory?
I think not clearly, but
Clearly.
clearly. I mean, obviously, if there's no like descendants anywhere, you would think that they were all killed. But if they were all killed, I would find it very hard to believe that white people overtook our country as easily as it did.
Yeah, and that's
That's
the thing.
true.
But
That's true.
while I do believe it, like there had to have been. Let me back up here. Tribes are very notorious for their rituals, and
Right.
so most of the tribes would have buried a body or whatever, like given
Mhm.
last rites. But no bones and no evidence has ever been found of these
Like
colonists.
that is weird. And I mean, I don't really feel like I don't feel like they would go through that ritual for people who weren't in their tribe unless
Also
that
true.
was
True,
unless
yeah.
that was a part of their
I don't think that's true though. I mean, I see where you're going.
you
with
know,
that,
like
but,
they may have had something to do for like, oh, we do this for like our enemy or something. But like,
I don't know.
so
'cause
what
I
happened to all their remains? And
Nobody knows.
I feel like
Exactly.
if their religion, their beliefs were to do something, it really wouldn't matter what the other person's beliefs were. If they were to do,
Oh, I don't mean that. Like, I don't mean like if I was to do something to you, I would take your beliefs into account.
Mhm.
Like, but
you would
maybe if it
impress
was like,
yours.
maybe I wouldn't use my religious beliefs of like whatever happened to a dead body onto you because you weren't part of my tribe or my family. So I don't really care.
Right. And
Unless they had like a specific thing to do with like war.
Right.
I
It's-
don't know.
it's
In
just-
the same,
This is very weird.
Mm.
Yes. Especially when you look at like the evidence pointing to, when Governor White left in 1587 until the
Mhm.
time that he returned in 1590, there's no observable evidence, there's no accounts of anything. But when Governor White left in 1587, the colony wasn't fortified.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, so in those 3 years, which is such a long time.
That's a very long time for him to be gone, but really it's like not that long of a time for
Right.
like the entire colony to be wiped out.
over
and-
100 people to just disappear, especially when
With no trace.
the assumption is that they were obviously procreating,
Mhm.
you know, and the colony had to have been growing
There was no
over 3
birth
years.
control. Like, come on.
Right.
What- okay, kind of back to what a tribe may do.
Mm-hmm.
What if they didn't marry in and integrate? But what if they did kill them and we go back to the burying? Because if that's what they believed, even though not everybody might do that, if you reflect upon Native American tribes, they believe, like if they were to kill a buffalo, they believe in utilizing every
part.
piece
Mhm.
of the
that
buffalo. Like
Right.
you
to
yes.
respect that life. So what if that's exactly what they did? They gave it a proper burial or
They
whatever
used
their
the
beliefs
bones
were
for something and the skin for
Right.
something.
But,
like they
but
could
with archaeological digs,
they would have found
they've
something
found
even over
nothing.
time.
They haven't even found pottery in the area.
What if they
Would you eat the bones?
But you couldn't eat like that's the thing is you
I ate the
couldn't-
bones.
But
You
that-
wouldn't
see what I'm
eat
saying?
the bones, you wouldn't eat the hair. Like
Right. Well, I don't think
Well,
you'd
that
find
goes
hair.
away quickly.
Yeah. But the bones, like
They
they've
could burn
found-
it.
they could
Again,
have.
I guess you could. I guess bones do cremate down in ashes.
Yeah, they do.
Because
It
I
could be.
just don't see anything else happening. If they're not seeing it in lineage, then what the fuck else happened to it? Like, you'd
Yeah.
have to burn the body or something. Like Jamal Khashoggi.
That's fair.
Yeah. Maybe Lily's right. Maybe they used every piece for something.
It's just weird.
Just to respect the life. I don't know.
This is definitely a story I think in the future I want to deep dive
Yeah.
more.
Me
Make
too.
a good
And
broth.
yeah.
Make a good broth.
I don't
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Bone
with that,
broth.
histories and mysteries
Hold
have
on,
been.
no. I have to read.
Lily's got
I have
An-
a
an
dramatic
insert.
reading, if
Okay.
you recall. I've got it ready.
okay.
The Nina O. The Pinta O. The Santa Maria O. I'll do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria.
You can't even do it.
Nachos.
Do you need me to do it, Lil?
Lemon heads. My dad's boat. You won't go down
Nope, you were not supposed to sing
because
it.
my dick can float.
You're supposed to say
We
it in a
sail
dramatic way.
round the world and go port to port.
You can't do it.
Every
Mm-mm.
every time I come,
Hand the phone.
I produce a quart. Put on your life vest. Let's drop anchor. There's a nice lady whore. I'd like to swank her. Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. I gotta have me more boats and hoes.